CAL FIRE pilots say they always reflect on their mission to keep 90% of the fires they fly on under 10 acres. Aly Wente, KTVU, Channel 2 News. And so, with this level of sophistication, the Nexus 7 may well have super energized the mini tablet market. Aly Wente, KTVU, Channel 2 News. Despite all the newest advancements in technology, passengers still expect controllers to have their eyes on the planes and on the ground. They're some of America's most popular cars, but one well-respected safety expert says you may want to keep one of these in there to prevent being trapped in a burning car by a dangerous defect. Not too long ago, most communication was done through large bundles of copper wire. Then we learned that smaller and faster fiber optic cables could carry the same amount of traffic. Now, we pretty much do everything through thin air. When this huge block of solid rock right behind me is finally excavated later today, the fourth Caldecott Tunnel will be 1 year away from opening. Violent crimes are up in Oakland. We came to City Hall today to speak with the mayor and police chief on what their next steps will be in trying to reduce it. Until later tonight, when a vote is taken, the question remains, will this vast property come out of its 13-year slumber to produce many jobs or continue to sleep? I'm Aly Wente, KTVU Channel 2 News. Chevron fire investigators are sharing the details of the large fire that continues to burn days later. Reporter Aly Wente is at the refinery asking officials what the loss of the crude oil unit will mean for gasoline prices. Damage from the fire at the Chevron refinery in Richmond may possibly be larger than expected.
Again, we haven't had the ability to go in and fully assess the damage, but yes, there was damage beyond the initial pipe that was exposed to that. So there was some structural damage and there was some other piping damage.
But despite the amount of damage being investigated at the number 4 crude unit, problems outside of the refinery are what will affect more people. The problems here at the refinery may be about over, but problems for consumers at the pump may just be beginning. Summer is the season with the highest demand for gas, and with a large portion of the refinery shut down, gas prices are likely to spike.
So when we do have these sorts of outages, we see a price spike. And so far today, we've seen the price spike on the wholesale market about 25 cents a gallon. If that maintains, then we're going to see that come through to the pump pretty quickly.
Prices at the pump will also experience a rise when waiting for imported gasoline to reach the coast, which could easily take up to 4 weeks.
In that case, we could see a price spike much more than 10 or 15 cents, because when supply is really short, it's that supply and demand that set the price, not the costs of the production.
There is no telling when the refinery will be back in a safe working condition, meaning that a simmering demand for oil and fall could be the best hope for lowered gas prices. Aly Wente, KTVU, Channel 2 News. Something California hasn't seen for a while has been reappearing in communities. New post-recession home and apartment construction signs. Reporter Aly Wente is at a Shea Home development site in Livermore with details on the development and the impact the construction is making on the community. In just the month of June, housing starts rose 6.9%. That's the biggest increase since October 2008.
We are seeing a decreased inventory on the resale market, and I think that's driving people to the new home market, and that's where we're seeing an uptick in sales activity and then now building permit activity.
Increased job growth working with an uptick in consumer confidence and all-time low interest rates is making now a great time to purchase a new home. But even with the rise, housing starts and permits are roughly half what economists consider as healthy. Cheaper mortgages and lower home prices have attracted consumers to buying a new home rather than rent.
Well, the mortgage would be about the same, and it was just, now I have a place where my child can grow up.
Each new home built in the United States provides at least 3 jobs for a year and $90,000 in taxes.
People are getting back to work, as builder confidence picks up and we see, more people getting into the new housing market. We're starting to see job creation. We're starting to see, more sustained job growth within our industry.
Home construction sites may become a more familiar scenery now that U.S. builders broke ground on the most new homes and apartments in nearly 4 years, which ultimately means more jobs and a possible turn in the housing market. Aly Wente, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
Complete Bay Area news coverage starts right now. This is KTVU Channel 2 News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Aly Wente, and this is a KTVU Channel 2 News special report. Investigators in Vallejo are looking into the third suspicious fire in the same area in the past 2 weeks. Fire crews rushed to a former Army surplus store on Couch Street just before 7 o'clock this morning. The building has been vacant for several years. This is the third fire on Couch Street in 2 weeks. Investigators are now trying to figure out if the fires are connected. 3 NATO service members from New Zealand were killed today in a bombing in Afghanistan. The deadly attack happened this morning in the eastern part of the country. Military officials say the improvised explosive device blew up along the road, causing a major explosion. Also today, a man in Afghan police uniform shot and killed an international service member in southern Afghanistan. It was the latest in a string of attacks by apparent Afghan forces turning on their NATO allies. Volunteers gathered today to search along the American River in Sacramento County for a missing UC Davis student. 19-year-old Linnea Lomax of Placerville has been missing for almost 2 months. She was last seen leaving a mental health facility on Howe Avenue in Sacramento, June 26. Searchers from the Class Kids Foundation launched a major search for Lomax on Friday. Her family believes Lomax suffered a nervous breakdown during finals. Occupy Oakland is distributing a harvest this evening picked from the University of California farming tract. The harvest plan for 11 a.m. was delayed as the occupiers waited to get into the Gill tract in Albany. Occupiers say there was some tension, but police unlocked the gate for them. Once in at noon, they filled dozens of boxes of vegetables, including tomatoes, squash, and greens. An occupier says the university needs to allow public access to the tract.
The university has been overseeing this land for about 90 years, and especially in the last 20 years, they've had very little public access to what is a public resource.
This was the 4th harvest of the Gill tract. Occupiers decided to give away again the vegetables in Albany and in West Oakland. Still to come, a recap of today's top stories. Plus, a South Bay agency tries to fix what could be an expensive mistake. Why 2 words could cost the Santa Clara Water District more than $500 million. Excitement is building for the America's Cup. The big race is happening off the Northern California coast this week. And a classic car goes under the hammer in Pebble Beach. How much this Mercedes is expected to go for.